Welcome to week 2 of the Friday Game Night Pick'em Show here on AccessWDUN.com. It's the same ugly crew with you this week, minus Walker back in Virginia. What's up, fellas?
I
Much more elbow room.
Yeah,
say I can
very much so. But I feel insulted. I got insulted right off the bat.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
You just called us all ugly.
Yeah,
Love how Caleb's
I mean,
doing the thing I
all
literally
your
asked
life,
him not
Jeff.
to do immediately, right off the bat.
Yeah, don't
right
move
off
your
the bat.
arms too much.
Y'all are just
and we're
mad
trying a
because-
new setup here. And
Where's my arm?
Stand up. Your head will leave, too. That's all you got to do, because when you get up in the air in the clouds, you've got nothing.
Why am I here? Why? What has my job? What is my...
Now I'm back.
Hey, you know what? I can stand up and still be in
That
the
is
picture.
right.
right.
You
Jeff
can.
can stand
Jeff,
up.
This is
stand
awful.
up. Stand up, Jeff. And there goes Jeff. Oh,
Oh, well, I mean, he's...
hello, everyone.
Are you now? you're saying
Why are we doing the one thing that we really shouldn't be doing?
Well, you
Wait,
know.
First
it's-
I'm ugly, now I'm short.
Because it's new toys we're playing with, Seth. We
That's
have to
right.
test the new toys.
If-
Not that way.
You know, we couldn't goof off before we went, live today. So that's
Gotta get it all out now.
Gotta get it all out now. Hey,
Okay.
guys. Week 1 of the books. We thought it was going to be a great week. It was a great week. Mother Nature, though, however, she decided to give us a few delays around the state of Georgia, and especially in our coverage area.
I just got back from the Buford game about 2 hours ago.
Didn't we all?
I mean, I just got back from Cherokee Bluff like 15 minutes ago. So
It's what Cherokee Bluff, I think, had the longest delay, right?
it was forever.
Mine was over 2 hours at Buford.
Okay.
At Milton.
I
Over
think
2
we were
hours.
2:15, 2:20, something like that.
We were hour 30 at Marist.
You know, I found it interesting, and Walker will remember because me and him were on that sports talk show that we did for 2 hours.
Congratulations.
As
Bubba.
Brian
You've always
called it,
wanted
the hour
one.
and a half time show.
You've
Yeah,
always
exactly.
wanted one, Caleb, and you got it.
So I was dead wrong in one of the predictions I made early in the lightning delay, which was that I thought in this new power rating era that you would see some of the higher classification schools be a little more quick to be like, all right, we're going to go ahead and just call it whatever, no contest, whatever you decide, and go home. And then you would see the lower classification schools stick it out because they need that power rating one way or the other. And it turns out that didn't happen. I guess everybody was just hungry for football. Everybody pretty much, with a couple of exceptions, just about everybody decided to stick it out and play.
Look, that was the best call, in my opinion, just to stick it out and play it. But you've got week 1. A lot of teams came out Saturday. Not a lot. We had 3 in the area, or 4 in the area that came back on Saturday to finish. But, if you're going to go into a delay, might as well just sit there and finish it. Why come back? So I know at Jefferson they were talking about, or at Marist they were talking about, hey, maybe we just come back and play it Saturday. I'm like, no. There's a minute and 35 left in the third quarter. Let's just sit here and wait it out. So.
Right. Why would you want to come back? I mean, look at some of the things that happened on Saturday. The East Hall game turned out to be pretty good, but then you had one team that didn't do anything offensively. That was Banks County. And then you look at what happened in the
West Hall game.
The West Hall game. I mean, they were in that game, and it was just like, there was just like the blahs on the next day. So I don't know. I just don't know if it's a good idea to take the break and come back the next day. Just so many, momentum and emotions change.
Well, you also guys have that opinion of why did you take the next day to play it? Why didn't you just finish with everybody else? Which I'm sure there were some circumstances to that. But regardless, we thought week 1 was going to be a dandy. Did it turn out the way we thought?
Buford
No.
game.
No.
No, not at all.
I think there were definitely some surprises. I think there were some really good
What's the
games.
biggest surprise?
I don't know.
Cherokee Bluff's
I would say-
defense holding Lumpkin County to one
The
offensive touchdown.
physicalness of
Yeah.
Cherokee Bluff. Wow.
Yeah, that I think that's the most shocking thing to me. Not that we didn't think Cherokee Bluff was going to be physical, but just how physical they were against the Lumpkin County team that ran the ball as well as anybody maybe in the state last year. And they only had, I think it was 100 rushing yards, maybe.
52 of
And
which
Cal
came on
had
one play.
63, 52 of which on the third play.
But they had a lot of changes coming in. I mean, offensive line, running back. I mean, there were some question marks there.
There were.
You could kind of see that kind of play out a little bit in that game, because I kept waiting, watching the scores come in. I kept waiting for Lumpkin to kind of get going, and it just never happened.
Well, and I think the other thing that impressed me in that game, Walker, and you saw it in person, I thought, under Brian, the new quarterback, Cherokee Bluff's offense, I thought, looked a lot more cohesive. They weren't exactly just flying up and down the field every time they got the ball, but they could string together a good drive, and not turn the ball over and maybe hit a couple of big plays, and just looked more dangerous in general offensively in a way that I think is going to bode well for them down the line.
Yeah, for sure. I think that when you really look at what Brooks Bryan's able to do at Cherokee Bluff, he makes that offense a lot more balanced. We talked last year about how Cherokee Bluff just couldn't really push the ball down the field in terms of getting it through the air. They had a very good running game, but everybody could just kind of stack 7, 8 in the box and kind of slow that down. I don't think that anybody's going to be able to stack 7 or 8 in the box this year against Cherokee Bluff, and that's going to allow Connor Griffin to be able to get his rushing yards. That's going to allow KT Thompson to get his touches on the outside, and they moved KT Thompson all over the field. Coach Jones and his staff really did a good job of creating mismatches based on wherever they wanted to put KT Thompson. They would put him out wide, and he would match up with Cal Faulkner. He's got Cal beat on height. They'd put him as a slot receiver, put him against a linebacker. Good luck keeping up with KT Thompson there. They just did an excellent job on Friday night into Saturday morning of getting KT Thompson touches all over the field and really keeping that offense extremely balanced. Brooks Bryan is going to be a tough out for everybody in 8-3A.
Walker, I know you told me Friday night that you felt like, after seeing some of the scores from the Region 8-3A, that Bluff perhaps maybe is now in the talk for top 2 even after week 1, and the way they played and how physical they played, if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, if they stay healthy. I mean, I think that you talk about Jefferson played Marist, a very tough opponent there. But Jefferson's offense, still a lot of question marks.
Lots of questions.
Oconee County was at North Oconee. Again, another very tough opponent to open up the season. So don't really know a whole lot about Oconee County. Still don't know a lot about Monroe area. I know they score a lot of points and they have athletes all over the field, but if Cherokee Bluff's able to stay physical and grind out drives and they converted 9 of 11 third downs in the first half, Cherokee Bluff did.
Well,
that's insane.
The big thing to me was, if you're one of those kind of top teams in 8-3A, if you're Jefferson, if you are Oconee County, if you are Monroe area, I wasn't very happy to see Cherokee Bluff looking as good as they did on Friday, because the last thing those teams need is another strong team in that region.
Look, right? I think, you talked about KT Thompson being moved all around. I think that was probably the plan last year, because I'm going to say it. There's a lot of great athletes over at Bluff. He might be the best athlete in the school. He plays 3 sports. He's pretty good at all of them. Really good in baseball. I mean, that's going to be where his scholarship is. So this kid just knows how to play sports. He's a great athlete. I think that was the plan, but he was hurt most of the year last year. Yeah. You see him healthy now and what he can do. I mean, he's already a force on the defensive side, whether he plays offense or not. But, you move him around like you did. You get the ball to him in different suddenly Bluff looks very strong in that region.
And I don't want to discount East Hall either. I know that the offense didn't look like we expected it to look with against Banks County, but we don't have questions about East Hall's defense very much anymore, guys, and that's something to keep an eye on as well. If East Hall's defense continues to roll like they did against Banks County and their offense starts to click, I think East Hall's in the mix for a playoff spot.
Yeah, I think there's some really good positives coming out of last week.
What about Gainesville? You got to throw them out there. A lot of questions about revamped offense. Sophomore quarterback Kareem Hughley comes in and has a very good game, very efficient game. Jeremiah Ware with over 100 yards, Shane King over 100 yards, Carmelo Bird over 100 yards rushing. So what we thought might have been bare is not bare over at Gainesville offensively. We knew the defense was going to be nasty, but offense is clicking.
I don't think you could ask for a better start if you're Hewley in the Gainesville offense. And, I was asking Caleb, because I have a feature story on their game, today with Moody. And I said, Gainesville.
You are?
Yes, I do. It's already, but I said Gainesville dismantled Marietta. Accurate? He said it was.
Very accurate.
If you beat somebody 41-3, you dismantled them, you blew them out, you boat raced them, you everything.
It's the one team Friday night that Mother Nature helped, by the way, because Gainesville comes out of that delay and reels off 4 touchdowns in the third quarter to blow them out.
That was an interesting thing to me. The teams that handled the rain delay well and didn't, there were some teams that seemed to just really kind of fall apart after the rain delay, and there were some teams that seemed to really respond really well.
Buford, I'll throw that in there. Look, they came out of the break, and they quickly went down 13-0, and you're thinking, the route might be on against the defending state champs.
I got that text from you.
Yeah. But I will
at Milton.
Yeah, but I tell you what, the Buford defense is as good as advertised. And the offense, if they were playing anybody else other than, say, Milton, they probably scored at least 3 touchdowns.
That was going to be the last thing I touched on. Man, Buford's defense against a Milton offense that we expect to be one of the best in the state.
Right.
I mean, you hold them to 13 points. I know it rained.
They shut them out the last 18 minutes. They had less than 100 yards rushing. And the quarterback duo was ineffective after they got up 13-0. Buford did everything they needed to do to shut down that offense.
And they had 2 chances with the ball at the end to win the game, just didn't get it done.
Right.
But
ended that drive on the 35, didn't they?
Something like that, yeah.
All right, guys, we got to move on because we got to bring our guest picker is coming up here next as we get ready to roll into our first break of the show. Guest picker this week. It's, we'll tell you on the backside of this break. Coming up here next as we continue with a Friday game night pick'em show right here on Access WDUM.
You morons, we can still hear you. Your audio's not live.
Okay.
Your ad here.
Music, please.
I got a question. We're going to the picks.
Welcome back, folks, after that stunning commercial break we just had as we welcome you down to the rundown of our picks today. Seth, roll our music if we got it.
Which?
Here we go.
Okay,
there it is.
Oh, we labeled those last year, no?
We did. We did.
All right, well, maybe some glasses. All right, let's start.
Maybe a new job.
We welcome in Forsyth County Athletic Director and whatever else on his title, Nathan Turner. Welcome, Coach. How are you, man?
Guys, thank you. Feel like it's an honor and a privilege to be with you guys today. I've done a lot of interviews, but this one might be the top of the list for me.
Look, we got to ask you, though, because
sorry to hear that,
I know
Coach.
we asked you before we went live here, but we got to ask you, is it a forfeit?
Yes, sir. It is a forfeit. 1-0. Now, I got a trivia question for you guys.
Oh.
What football team trailed at halftime and never scored in the game, but won?
North Forsyth.
That'd be North Forsyth.
Good one to have when you're broadcasting a game 5 years from now.
That's right. North Forsyth trailing at halftime 7-0, actually. And Wheeler comes out, I guess, and says we're not going to play the second half. So
I'm kind of surprised by that, Coach. What did they give you?
Kind of walk us through, from your understanding, what happened there, because a lot of people have been wondering, like, what the heck happened there.
So the Officials Association, guys, after just a little bit of time, they didn't really give a lot of feedback to either Wheeler or North Forsyth, and they packed up and went home, which kind of put both teams in a predicament of, hey, what do we do? We're not going to be playing tonight for sure because we don't have officials. Mm-hmm. So negotiation goes back and forth. Wheeler talking about not being able to get kids back on Saturday to play on Saturday. North Forsyth saying, hey, man, we'll play. We would play tonight. And we'll play Saturday. And then kind of the conversations got to what's our common bye week, which was fall break week. And North said, hey, listen, man, that's going to be tough for us because we have people and families who've already made plans and trips, and that's been kind of set in stone. So that's going to be tough for us. And then the conversation got down to, well, if you can't get your kids here for Saturday tomorrow, how do you think they're going to come back when we're both on fall break?
Yep.
And so the final resolution there was Wheeler punted and said we forfeit.
So what you're saying, Coach, is the officials left the stadium, just said we're done.
Yeah, how does that happen?
Yeah,
does that
I've never heard of that
caught
in my
me by
life.
surprise too.
You know, I will give props to. I'm going to throw something out here. Our association here that covers the North Georgia area and Lanier Football Officials Association, man, they were phenomenal Friday night. I had 5 ball games that involved them. Their guys stayed, their crew stayed, but we go over to Cobb. We get different associations. You get different makeups and setups of officials, and sometimes things happen. I can't answer that for that association, but I will say this for our association that you guys cover, they did a great job this weekend.
One word, Atlanta. That's all you need to know.
Well, it was Cobb. Yeah. All right, let's get to the picks, guys. You ready to roll
ready.
with these run? We're going to start just right at the top here of the list. We're going to just dive right into this game, which could perhaps be the best game on the schedule, maybe the best game in the Southeast, maybe one of the best games in the country. I don't know. Gainesville at Moody, Alabama, guys. And
By the way,
go ahead.
Pick order is me, Seth, Jeff, Bo, Caleb, Coach Turner.
There you go. All right, so Walker's going to start first. Gainesville at Moody.
I'm not going to remember that, by the way. Somebody's going to have to tell me what it's right there.
Caleb, you are after Bo.
Okay, thank you.
And I am after Seth. Okay.
Yeah. All right, go.
I'm going Gainesville. I mean, that offense, we had question marks. There's no more question marks in Gainesville. Give me Big Red handily.
Ooh.
Seth Rowe.
Big Red, making sure I didn't mute myself.
I'm going to go with Gainesville. I don't know about handily. Moody has they have 11 starters back. They have a ridiculously good front seven. That's going to be the real game. The Gainesville, huge offensive line against that front seven.
So you're going with Gainesville.
I'm going with Gainesville.
Okay. All right. So I can't wait to get over there. Let's go now.
I'm ready.
Yep. Gainesville. I'm picking Big Red in that one.
I'm going to take Gainesville. I agree with Jeff. Close game. I think the difference, the Gainesville defense. You talked about the front seven for Moody. I think the front seven for Gainesville could be a difference.
Every matchup in this game is going to be good.
I could see it being a low-scoring game.
Coach?
I think we lost Coach.
Did we lose Coach?
What happened?
How did we lose Coach?
I'm going to walk in front of the camera.
And there's a big question mark.
It's a big
on
question
the screen.
mark. It looks like Walker is
apparently Coach is questioning this game. So he is gone.
What happened?
Connection.
His connection failure.
Oh, boy.
We're trying out some new things here.
We
folks.
are trying
Bear
out some
with
new
us a
things.
little
Look,
bit.
we hope to have this.
Well, we could just keep going, and when he comes back, we just get all his picks.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Keep the show.
All right, so here we
Is that a good pose for me?
Yeah, it's a great pose for you. Yeah, it's a great look. Can you see my hand? Okay, North Forsyth at Creekview. By the way, Gainesville Moody is Thursday, and North Forsyth at Creekview is Thursday. We're doing the show in a little different order, so we're going to discuss these games later on in the show today. But these are Thursday games. So North Forsyth at Creekview. North Forsyth has only played a half of football going into this game.
And they didn't score.
That's right.
Yeah, and for that reason, I think I'm going to take Creekview. I think that North Forsyth is going to get it going offensively at some point. I just don't know that on the road at Creekview is going to be that time.
Seth?
Seth.
North Forsyth Creekview.
I'm here.
He's
got a lot going on.
I'm getting Coach back. Thank you very much.
North Forsyth.
North Forsyth Creekview. Who you got?
Give me Forsyth. Give me North Forsyth.
Okay, there we go.
Jeff.
I'm going with Creekview.
And reintroducing.
Yes, Coach is back.
Yay, Coach is back.
We'll get 2 picks from Coach here in just a second. All right, so it's my go. North Forsyth at Creekview. What's the line on this game? Anybody got the line on that game?
I don't know. Did you
It's
we do not
not
have a line on
it's
that
not
game.
more than 4 points.
Look, I'm going to go with Nofo in this one.
Okay.
Attaboy.
Attaboy. We'll give you some more applause for that one. Here you go.
He comes back and everybody's taking Creekview. So
I am not going to get an attaboy because I've got Creekview. Sorry.
I have a pot for that too.
Because it's garbage.
We have it in there, and that's just really fun.
All right, Coach, you've got the Gainesville game to pick and this game. Start with Gainesville first.
First off, I think Niblett's going back home to Alabama. He's had his team ready to play 2 weeks in a row against tough competition in Georgia. Another Gainesville win, so he's going to move right along.
All right.
North Forsyth, they're going to have to fight. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a tough ball game. It's not going to be easy. Went over there a couple of years ago, and they scored first, and I think Creekview scored the last 30 and beat them like 30-7. So they know that. They know what they're getting into. It's a Thursday night ball game. Routines are going to be different. So they're going to have to come ready to play. But you know me, I never go against the Raiders.
All right.
I know that.
All right, let's roll on to the next game. Benedictine at Buford. Benedictine at Buford.
Is it Benedictine or Benedictine?
The local news down there says Benedictine.
Yeah, but that's
Either
Savannah.
way.
Do you say Backton or Bactine?
Yeah.
Either way,
Tomato.
Buford lost last week. They're playing at home in Tom Ryden Stadium, kicking off the farewell tour to Tom Ryden Stadium. And Benedictine couldn't score very many against Rabun Gap. I know Rabun Gap's really good, but Rabun Gap boat raced them. Give me Buford.
Yeah.
Seth?
Dang it, Buford.
Jeff.
I have too much to do.
Buford.
So many buttons.
I'm going to go with Buford.
Buford's defense, they roll in this one.
Coach?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Big Green Machine will roll in this one. Benedictine losing to Rabun Gap tells me enough right there. I know that Rabun Gap has kind of gone to the recruiting trail overseas and brought some great talent in, so I go with Buford.
I mean, Rabun Gap, the new IMG, or the
might be.
IMG of Georgia.
IMG International.
Yeah, international.
Look, they did that down in Savannah.
All right, let's roll to Cherokee Bluff, coming off a big win over the Indians last week over at Appalachia this week.
I don't know that the Bears cover the 12-point favorites that they are, but I think the Bears win on the road.
Okay.
Bears. Bears.
The Bears. And we lost Coach
Yeah.
again.
The Bears.
You know what?
I'm going to
go with the Bears.
Appalachia's been bad for a while now. I haven't seen anything yet. They got beat pretty bad by, was it Chattahoochee they played? Mm-hmm. I haven't seen anything
All
yet
right,
to
so we
indicate-
learned something about the software. If he goes and then comes back, it's fine.
Yeah, it's good.
It'll just return. We'll just see the question mark
I
for a
got
little
Cherokee Bluff. I haven't seen any signs yet that Appalachia is on the rise yet, so I'm going to take the Bears.
Coach?
You got to go with Tommy Jones's Bears. I like them. The Chiefs been down the last few years. I've been in the region with them and seen them play. They fight hard, but I just don't think they have the muscle that the Bears have.
East Forsyth at Dawson County.
I'm going to take EFO. I liked what they did against Forsyth Central. Dawson County is still with question marks. It's just their first game of the year. Give me the Broncos.
Broncos as well.
Ditto.
Bo, you covered sports in Dawson and Forsyth County for a long time.
You're going to go there?
You
It's going
know-
to take 20 minutes.
Dawson County's record against Forsyth County schools, Bo, it's roughly...
I just have better things to do than look that up in my life, Caleb.
It's not good.
Don't really care.
It's not good. So I'm going to take East Forsyth.
Could you have just said
nor-
ditto like everyone
nor
else and moved
does
this
it
along?
matter.
Visioned
Like-
all kinds of answers. That was not
I mean,
anywhere
that's
in the
like
list.
this is like Jeff's third stat of the show here later. Coach,
Bo, you know those stats. We'll go with EFO.
He does know the stats.
Yeah, he's not saying.
Oglethorpe County at East Hall.
East Hall. East Hall.
I mean, yeah, we have the bit, but you did it anyway.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting to see if Seth wanted to play the bit, but
No,
yeah,
he
Jeff
did it. He just
anyway
did it live.
which is,
Greatest
Heck it, we'll
cheer
do it
in,
live.
that's the greatest cheer in high school.
Who you got?
give me the Vikings at home. Their defense looked really good. I'm going to lean on that a little bit longer.
give me East Hall as well.
This could be a shootout. Looking at what
Could it?
Oglethorpe did last week, and
Social Circle. Yeah, 48-41.
yeah.
crazy.
But I'm going to go with East Hall. I like what they're doing. I think the offense maybe gets going a little bit.
They're going to be tested a lot more
Oh yeah,
this week, I believe. But I'm going to go with the Vikings. I'm still sticking with my dark horse pick for the Vikings. So I'm going with East Hall.
I went against East Hall last week, and it bit me, so I'm going to learn
You
from my
should go
mistake.
against them again.
I'm going to learn from my mistake
So
and take
catch
the
up.
Vikings.
Okay. Coach?
Growing up, East Hall Stadium was our home stadium, so I got to go with the Vikings on that one. I'll take the boys from Rabbit Town.
All right, guys, does Commerce get back on track this week at East Jackson?
I think they do. Jaden Daniels getting healthier, so he's going to see more snaps as the season goes. East Jackson, I think, is going to look better than they did last week, but I think Commerce rushing game going to be a little too much.
Agreed.
They ran for 424 yards last week and lost.
Yeah, but they also gave up how much to the air?
And what does East Jackson
passes to Ben Brown?
And what does East Jackson do best? They throw the ball, and they've got a good quarterback and a receiver. I think this is going to be a much more interesting game than I think it looks like. I'm going to go with Commerce, but don't be surprised if this is a much closer game.
Yeah, I'm going with the Commerce just because it's going to be on their jersey. And East Jackson's going to see that, and it's going to be that factor there. So,
I don't think you're 100% wrong. I've got Commerce in this one.
Well, we might get a call from Pettis on that one.
Listen. If I'm wrong, I can't wait to talk to him on Friday night.
Same.
If Caleb and I are wrong, we'll fly the Eagle wings on the scoreboard.
right.
Show.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Coach?
I'm going to go with that running attack of Commerce. I was a big fan of that in the offseason, saw it last year, and still think it's got a strong chance to make a deep run this year.
Habersham Central at Flowery Branch.
Y'all, come on there. Y'all know that one.
I'm going to take the Raiders on the road.
Yeah.
Raiders, yeah.
Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders.
I'm going to take Habersham.
They're the Raiders. You know that, right?
Yes. I do.
What's everybody's favorite Indiana Jones movie? Raiders.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Sure.
Coach,
I'll
do we
throw
have to-
things.
do we even need to
I
ask?
will throw things.
we didn't need
We
to.
didn't even need to ask that one.
Okay.
Can't believe you did that, Caleb.
Jefferson.
What an atrocious thing to do.
Jefferson at, yes, you're seeing this and hearing this right,
Dude,
Jackson
do that to
County.
Harrison Ford.
Jefferson at Jackson County. Walker.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going to take Jackson County at home.
Seth?
Just
Not
have
so
a gut
fast.
feeling.
Jefferson.
Have a gut feeling and a lot of questions with the
Give me
Dragons.
Jefferson as favored by 23.
Right. Oh, you're taking Jefferson?
What
Yeah.
What does Maxwell know?
Really? 23? That's going to play.
I'm not
right-
taking it like by 23. That's what I'm reading.
I got you. Well, that being said, I'm going to take Jackson County. This is my team. This is my team that I think can win 8-5A. They had a very slow start. They absolutely turned it on in the second half. I think right now, and I'm saying it, I think they have more than Jefferson across the board.
Bo, you saw him last week.
Of course I did.
Jefferson, Walker's talking about.
Yes,
So
the
let's
Dragons.
see what old Bo has to say.
Look, don't know the status of Gavin Markey day to day. I know he went out the first quarter. The offense struggling without Sammy Brown, as we knew it would be. But I got to think Coach Nolan and his staff, they're going to have this back on track. It's at Jackson County. I'm going with the Dragons. I can't pick against the Dragons.
That
Sorry.
place is going to be jacked.
I just and I see the question marks around Jefferson's offense. They're understandable. Marist's defense is also just a beast to have to go into week one. That could distort your perception just a little bit.
I can see that.
Also, I think Jefferson's defense is really good.
Look, the game was 10-7.
I was about to say,
Until
Marist did nothing offensively
late third
until the
quarter.
second half.
Right.
Jefferson's defense, I still think, is very good. I've got the Dragons on the road.
Another tidbit information, Jefferson fumbled the ball twice late in the game. So there you go. Coach, your pick.
I don't know the last time that these two teams played because I'm trying to think back in my childhood days. and I can't
2019.
Remember a last
2019.
19. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Excellent. It doesn't matter.
I think we should just
Wait
end
for it.
right
Let's
there.
just wait for
Is
it.
Coach
While we're
Miles-
waiting on him to come back, we didn't even mention Ryan Murray 14-3 last
There we
year.
go.
Yeah, he was. Andy's back.
Congratulations, Ryan Murray. High mark for Nathan Turner to compete with.
Yeah.
There you go,
Yeah.
Coach. All right.
Coach, we were hoping you wouldn't come back because that was a perfect way to end that.
He pulled the rock and then got cut off. He's like, it doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
Gone.
Not so fast, my friend.
Last thing we heard was it doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's going to be the Dragons.
Okay.
There we go.
Franklin County at Johnson. And Walker, I think Johnson has a shot here.
I think they have more than a shot. I think they're probably the better team. Franklin County didn't do a whole lot in the second half against Chestatee. I think Johnson coming out hasn't played a game yet. They're going to be fired up to get the season going. I'm going to take the Knights at home.
I'm going to go with Walker on that one. Give me the Knights.
Hey, I am too. Very similar offenses. Chastity ran for over 300 yards last week. The Dungeon's going to be rocking. I'm taking Johnson. I mean, this is probably an upset, but I'm taking Johnson.
Yeah, get there early, get your tacos. I'm going with the Knights.
Oh, you had to say it.
My mind says Franklin, but my heart says Johnson. And I'm going to go with my heart on this one and take the Knights.
Okay, there you go.
This would bring a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
Coach?
Blue Crew in the Dungeon.
Wow.
There it
Clean
is.
sweep for Johnson. Mark the day and time.
Creekside Christian at Lakeview Academy.
Kiari Birch, the difference in this one. Give me the Lions at home.
Lions.
Lakeview, they beat them 52-0 last year. Lakeview.
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Lakeview.
Lakeview shut out LCA. It was a 1-half game, but still looked pretty good on that side of the ball. And they've probably got the best player on the field in Kiari Birch. Got the Lions.
Yeah.
Kings Ridge at Lanier Christian Academy. Oh, I'm sorry, Coach. I need to get you. You got Lake.
He said
was
Lakeview.
I heard him
I'm
say
going with
that.
Lakeview.
Yep.
I agree. I agree. Lakeview.
Kings Ridge at Lanier Christian Academy. Yeah.
Anybody know anything about Kings Ridge?
Yeah, just pick them.
Yeah, I think I'm
they're-
going to take Kings Ridge.
They're pretty good.
At home or on the road.
I think they're one of the bigger schools in the GIAA
Yeah.
population-wise.
Yeah.
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 So they're officially
New
GIAA
coaching
now.
staff this year.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I'm going to go against it. Let's go Lanier.
I learned my lessons last week. I'm going to take Kings Ridge.
Yeah, I'm going with Kings Ridge.
Yeah, me too.
Coach?
Me too.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay,
What
here's another interesting game to me on the schedule. North Hall at
Oh.
Wesleyan.
Very
Or
interesting.
as Gene hates to say, Wesleyan.
Wesleyan. I learned that one Friday night at Cherokee Bluff. I don't know what North Hall is going to have offensively. Lost a lot last year. So I'm going to lean with Ben Brown just basically off of what he did last week. North Hall's defense is going to be improved, and that's where most of their returners are for the Trojans, but Ben Brown can throw the ball better than anybody. So give me Wesleyan.
Wesleyan.
Commerce defense is better than North Hall defense.
Boo.
Traditionally last year, and look what they did to them this year. I'm taking Wesleyan.
This game has all types of interest because of North Hall's quarterback situation with Schliemann and McGarvey.
Right.
Going to be interesting. They
Yep,
do
yep.
have a lot of their offensive line and defensive line back from last year. They have two key players in that secondary with Walker Davis leading that way. It's interesting to see where North Hall is and how they've come through the summer in this game, and I think they'll be really, really, really tested. As much as it pains me to do this, I'm going to pick Wesleyan.
I'm going to take Wesleyan also.
You guys are very smart. Very smart.
Thank you.
Wow.
Don't get them in their heads.
And
Don't do this.
This next game here, some stats from the Fannin County game last week might prove this one to be pretty interesting. Rabun County at Fannin County. Watch out for the cannon fire.
Yes.
Ty Truelove day to day, but I don't think it matters. I'm going to take Rabun County.
Okay.
Seth.
Rabun. Give me Rabun.
Fannin County quarterback, almost 400 yards individually last week, running and passing, accounted for 5 touchdowns. This is going to be
That's huge.
Yeah, this
Who'd
is
they
going to
play?
be. It's going to be a big.
Ty
big-
Truelove had 5 touchdowns too.
Who did they play? Who did they beat?
White County.
Not Rabun County, Fannin County.
They beat Gilmer.
I don't know.
They beat Gilmer. I'm just saying this is going to be a better game than I think a lot of people anticipate. I'm going to take Rabun, but this is not going to be a cakewalk.
I'd like to have a cake. I'm going to go with Rabun County.
Rabun County owns the mountains until further notice.
Right.
Give me the Wildcats.
I think y'all said Ty Truelove's day to day, and I'm going to tell you, Fannin's one of the hardest places to coach. I'm taking Fannin at home.
Boom. There goes the cannon.
Yes, indeed. I've heard the cannon.
Riverside at
Cannon,
Towns
where?
County.
Riverside covers, Towns wins.
Towns is a 29-point favorite, by the way.
You know what? I'm gonna coattails that. I like that. I like it.
So what's your coattails?
It's like what
Okay.
Walker just said.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm going with Towns.
You're
too.
here on this show too, man.
Yeah. I'm taking Towns also.
Yeah, let's go Indians. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Coach Lee.
Towns County.
Did you play for Coach
God,
Lee?
I never would have thought this, but Towns, man,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Towns.
2-0 start potentially if they win this one.
Yeah. Didn't you play for
No.
Jeff Lee? You did not play for Jeff Lee. You
No.
get very confused.
Union County at Gilmer.
Now, remind me here, Dockery out for the season, correct,
Yes.
Jeff?
Out
Yes,
for the
yes,
season.
yes.
They
Yeah,
have
so
they have a freshman.
LJ going to LJ, I think Gilmer wins this one.
Seth.
It's only the 16th pick.
Union. Give me Union.
This was a hard one to pick because I think Union, if with Dockery, I think they win this game handily. But without Dockery and unknown, defense can be pretty good. Gilmer, man, I'm going to take Gilmer. I'm going to be upset if I lose this one.
This was tough right here. I'm going to go Union.
Okay. I got Gilmer.
Coach?
I'm going with Gilmer. I think they run that midline very well. Paul Standard probably has a hard week of practice after a tough game last week, so I'm taking Gilmer.
All right, Coach, save this one for you, being the West Hall grad that you are. Northview at West Hall. I will let you go first here.
I've thought about that one. Walked the hot gates, been through there. Man, you can't take it against West Hall at home on this one. This is the one I marked that if West Hall needed to win. This is one where they got to get it. So I hope the home team can get it Friday night. So I'm taking West Hall.
Walker?
Credit Jeff Hart with these stats. Titans have lost 19 straight going back to 2022 and are 1-23 over the last 24 games. Spartans 2-19 over their last 21, but notice they've won one more in that stat than Northview has. I'll take West Hall.
Attaboy.
Wow.
Seth, who you got?
Well, we have some sort of camera malfunction.
Well, this is show one,
yeah,
test one.
I don't know. I actually know exactly what just happened.
Do you know who's going to win
Do you
the
know
West
who's gonna
Hall
win the West Hall?
game?
Because we're back on screen now.
I'm gonna go West Hall. Give me West Hall.
I'm going to tell you, West Hall better win this because if they don't, they need a win desperately. So I'm taking West Hall.
Sir.
Them
Spartan pride.
Them gates going to be hot Friday nights. Going to pick the Spartans to roll in this one.
Me as well.
Well, there it is, folks.
Hey.
Roll the music.
Week
Do we
2.
have out music to this? I can't
We
remember.
don't have outro music
Do
for
we
the
not?
picks.
No, we don't.
All right, Coach.
Don't you just love it when we do
thank
that? When Bo's like, do it, and I'm like, there's nothing to
There's
do.
nothing. Coach, man, appreciate you being part of the show today, man.
I've enjoyed it. Thanks for having me, guys. Guys, it's going to be a great season ahead. I appreciate what y'all do for high school sports week in and week out.
Coach Nathan Turner, Forsyth County Athletics Director, with us today and sharing his picks. That was good. That was very good. Look, we've got some more games coming up to talk about. We're going to break it out coming up here in the next segment, but we're going to have to go back to a break to flash up that wonderful commercial that we have for everyone to see that just sits there. But it is good. You can read the commercial because it's going to come on your screen here in just a moment as the Friday Game Night Pick'em Show continues here next.
Yeah, it's just me.
Just you.
Just me. Just gonna watch me work.
Guys,
for a
y'all have a
minute.
good one. I'm going to bump.
And Coach leaving. That's the commercial. This is what you got.
That's it?
If you don't want this, you want something else, then by all means,
Please, somebody buy an ad.
buy some sort of commercial ad, please.
Who do they need to
Here.
contact, Seth?
We're literally
your
begging.
contact?
I mean, me, Bo, our sales team, anybody.
Sales@jacobsmedia.net.
Sure,
you
yeah.
go.
Contact
How long have you worked for this company, Seth?
them. Man, sometimes I think too daggum long, man.
You're supposed to say hi. My name is Seth.
Look dead in the
Sounds like
camera.
the beginning to an AA meeting.
Sales at
Look dead in the camera.
JakeLowe.net.
Hi, my name's Seth.
Hi, my name is Seth, and do you like advertising on sports shows? Well, we've got a sports show, and we need advertisers. So you should do that.
I thought you were going to say, hi, my name is Seth. View my profile at.
All right, well, I'm just going to kick it back to these guys because you've all had quite enough of this for the day. Thank you. Here we go.
What
To
a
the
break.
show. That was such a great break.
What a
It was
break.
almost like it was live.
Yeah, I know. Should we be more disturbed that he might have a profile or that he doesn't have a profile?
I do not have profiles. I don't have anything.
Oh,
On
great.
what kind
There
of,
are no profiles.
what?
There are no lost emails.
on what kind of websites do you not have profiles, Seth?
All of them. I outside of this.
Photographersonly.com.
Outside of this.
Wow.
Outside of this, I am like the hermitiest hermit that ever hermited.
Videographersmeet.com.
Yeah, try finding him on a Tuesday.
Have you ever lost your shell?
My shell?
You said you're a hermit.
What is he, a turtle?
That's a hermit crap. I'm done with you. I'm over this.
All right,
This crap is live now. You got to cut this out.
Let's move on. Let's serious face. Let's move on. All right. Our conversation, we kind of flipped the show just because of availability of our guest picker. And shout out to Nathan Turner for being with us today. But let's start with Benedictine at Buford. Is this a bigger game than we thought it was? Is it not, since what happened last week to Benedictine at home, I believe, against Raby Gap, who obviously I feel like we're not giving credit to them because Raby Gap is like a machine up there now.
We were talking in the sports office this week about this game and kind of like, did Raven Gap just like absolutely destroy the luster of this game? Because not only did they beat Benedictine, they beat them bad at home. And one of two thoughts: either Benedictine just really doesn't have as much as they normally have. I mean, every program has a down year. A down year for them will be, 8-4.
Right.
A trip to the second round of the playoffs, something like that. But I mean, this is a program that's used to going to semifinals, winning state titles. This was when they looked at the schedule way back. We had this one penciled in. We're like, Benedictine at Buford, it's going to be an explosion. But looking at what Buford did in the second half against Milton, seeing what happened to Benedictine last week at home, I'm not sure that this game. I don't say it'll be a letdown. I think it'll be competitive for a little bit, but I just see Buford, based on what I saw and based on numbers that I looked at in a Benedictine game, I don't know that this game is going to be as marquee as we had once.
Well, and like I said, I expect, after what Buford's defense did at Milton Friday, I kind of expect Buford's defense to choke Benedictine out a little bit. But my question...
Can you say that live?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay.
So my question mark really is, what are we going to see out of Buford's offense? Because they struggled a lot at Milton. You were there. Looked like they might have gotten some traction a little bit in the second half, but they just couldn't finish drives. They couldn't convert on key third downs, and they just struggled offensively in general. How do they look offensively against a team that is not as good as Milton?
I think better. Here's what I noticed. The run game was going to be stuffed, but actually they outrushed them for the game when it was all said and done. So the Buford offensive line early on in the game was being manhandled. There were 5-6 Milton guys in the backfield every play, and by the third quarter into the fourth, the Buford line was actually getting a push. So there was some definite in-game improvement there. There were 2 or 3 passes that Dayton Rayola made, ridiculously good catches on the sideline. Seth, you were there, but they were out by a smidge, every one of them. So there were some glimpses of what could be. Of course, it was wet, and he had some slip balls when he threw them.
But you got to think with Buford coming back home.
Oh, they're going to be ready.
They're
going to be ready.
They're going to be ready. Of course, the Cadets lost a couple defensive linemen and offensive linemen during that game last week. I don't know how much that played into it. They're big kids, so I don't know if they're going to be back this week. But you got to feel, Walker, that Buford, who you can't really say that they had a bad game against Milton. No. Milton, arguably one of the best, or the best team in the state. But you got to feel like first game, Tom Ryden Stadium, going to be rocking Buford. They're going to take care of business.
Well, and not to mention, like Jeff said, the way that they grew throughout the game against Milton. I mean, we knew that there were going to be growing pains with the offense. No Dylan Raiola at quarterback. A lot of key people graduating and trying to fit new people in. The way that the defense came out and really handled Milton throughout the game after that first drive, I think that tells a lot about where Buford actually is. Defense is always further ahead than offense come week one. The fact that they held Milton the way that they did gives me a lot of really good thoughts as to where this Buford team can go. The offense is going to get going. I think this is the week that they can.
I would agree.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so big road game coming up, Gainesville at Moody. That's tonight, actually. We'll have the game live for you, 94.5 at AM 1240. The Lake, but Gainesville at Moody, a game that's got to be a billed as one of the bigger games. It actually is one of the bigger games of the week. But you've got two programs that are on similar paths. You look at Coach Gaines, former Georgia linebacker, who's the head coach at Moody. It brings a lot of energy to that program. The last couple of years, 20-5, the best season last year in program history. He has them on the upswing. Look what Coach Niblett did. He comes into Gainesville, has them on the upswing here, and now has Gainesville in the national ranking. So you see this game as two teams going at each other that have similar styles. What do we think about this game?
Well, this is kind of, and I can't speak a ton to Moody, obviously, because they're from another state. I don't know a whole lot about their personnel, things like that. But, for Gainesville, their offense did look so good out of the gate against Marietta. And we don't know a lot about Marietta at this stage of the season either, but they looked a lot better than I think people expected them to. And so that is a good sign for them because their defense we knew was going to be really good coming into the season. I do think it's going to be a great atmosphere there because from what I understand, and Jeff, I know you're from Alabama. I don't know much about the high school scene over there, but I do know, obviously, Josh Niblett ran a dynasty over there at Hoover. And from what I understand, Hoover and Moody aren't too terribly far from each other. No. If those Moody people, probably not big Hoover fans.
No.
And so I think they probably are looking forward for an opportunity to play the guy that ran the dynasty down the road in their home stadium. And from what I understand, they got a pretty good football team. I picked Gainesville. I've still got them winning. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. It should be a really good ball game.
It's going to be tremendous. Look, I haven't been to Alabama in 40 years watching high school football, so it's been a while. But everywhere I went when I was a kid, I mean, you're talking packed stadiums. My high school played
Was
Central.
this before or after a tennis match?
After. Like, my high school in Tuscaloosa played the other rival in Tuscaloosa, and we played in Bryant-Denny Stadium. There were 35,000 people there. So that's kind of the mood. There are not going to be 35,000 people at Moody because it's not going to be able to hold it. But what I do know, I talked to the pastor that was the Moody pastor with Josh Niblett when he won 5 titles over there with Hoover. And he's got some fans coming who's going to watch him. They're supposed to be bringing in extra stands, as I understand it. This place is it's going to be jammed, and it is going to be loud. It's going to be fun. I'm not sure if Moody has ever played a team from Georgia, so this is going to be very interesting. In that area of Alabama, Leeds has been the beast. That's where Bo Jackson played. They have ruled that area. Now you've got Coach Gaines that has come in, and he's taken a program that had very little success. Last year, 10-3. That's their most wins in school history in a season. They went to the quarterfinals just for the second time ever. So right now, Coach Gaines has it working over in that area that, Moody is going to be a player. I mean, from what I understand, what I've read, they are they're a state title contender in that 5A classification over there. So they've got a front seven that can rival Gainesville. They have an offense that's got a lot of guys back. Their quarterback threw for 2,500 yards and 29 touchdowns.
First game for them, by the way.
First game.
The opener for Moody.
There probably will be some first game stuff, some penalties.
Walker, what do you think about the game?
I just don't know if Moody's played a defense like Gainesville's going to trot out there. We know how good this Gainesville defense is, and they lived up to the hype and maybe even exceeded the hype that we thought that they were going to have last week. against Marietta. Couple that with an offense that had question marks that now we're just like, okay, this is Gainesville under Josh Niblett. That's what we expect from the Gainesville offense. We may just have expected it this year in week 8 instead of week 1. Moody's going to have their hands full trying to move the ball against this Gainesville defense, Bo, because I don't know if they've ever faced a defense that's as quick, as speedy, and as tenacious as this Gainesville defense is. And, oh, by the way, Josh Niblett going back to Alabama, he's got a little bit of extra little enthusiasm going to it as well.
Yeah. This one, Caleb, is a game against 2 high-energy head coaches. And you talk about that defense and the way the defense for Gainesville played. Didn't see the Marietta game, but they held them to a field goal and less than 150 yards of total offense, Caleb.
Yeah, and I'm a big defensive line guy because that's a position I played in high school. I love watching great defensive linemen. Gainesville's probably got the 2 best defensive linemen in this part of the state in Xavier Griffin and then Julius Columbus. Just those 2 guys alone. I mean, what they should be able to do to opposing offensive lines all season, it's going to be very tough for Moody to deal with those guys.
I don't know if this is going to have that much of an effect, but when you talk about depth, could be an issue when you're talking about Moody has their entire offensive line back, so you're going to need some depth. And Marshall Leonard's out. I mean, I was at practice earlier in the week, and he's in a knee brace, and I talked to him, and he is out. Maybe can come back for the playoffs. So that hurts their depth, and Leonard's he's a solid backup player. So we'll have to see if that has any effect, and if so, how much. But yeah, this could be one of the best games in the entire Southeast.
All right, guys, we talked a little bit did our picks about this Jackson County and Jefferson game. We threw it in here just because this game is, believe it or not, it's only been played 10 times before this year. So this will be the 11th meeting between the 2 schools. It's going to be Jefferson at Jackson. I think we've got it kind of backwards here, but Jefferson traveling over to Jackson County to play this game. Jackson County has never won a game in the series, as Jeff's phone continues to go off here to the left of us. But this game's kind of interesting. A lot of people are throwing up red flags about Jefferson and the outcome of the Mayor's game. Again, I'll say it was 10-7 or 10-3. Late third quarter, Mother Nature came in, Jefferson leading at that point, and then turnovers in the fourth quarter led to the loss to Marist. But, yes, life after Sammy is not it's actually what you thought it would be. But I'm not throwing up red flags on Jefferson just yet, Walker.
Yeah, I don't know that red flags need to be thrown up for Jefferson. It's kind of the same deal as a lot of other teams in the area, trying to figure out how to replace big pieces. Lumpkin County trying to replace Mason Sullins, being kind of the most equal in terms of the big piece that's missing the rushing game. Jefferson missing Sammy Brown. Gavin Markey goes out in the first quarter, now day-to-day. So the question mark comes, is he going to be up to playing? And if he's playing, how healthy is he going into this one? What I think is most impressive about Jackson County, though, Caleb, is their ability to rush the football. I mean, they struggled out of the gate early against Flowery Branch. I think it was 2-0 mid-second, but the defense was able to keep Flowery Branch offense kind of hemmed up, and then they exploded. And it exploded through the air, exploded on the ground. It was just the Jackson County show once they got the offense going.
Well, and what has stood out to me watching a little bit of that game on stream is we've talked for years now about how Jackson County, the growth of the population in that part of the county, it's the western part of Jackson County is where Jackson County High School gets its district. And the growth in that area is just exploding. Y'all have written ad nauseum in the last few years about the numbers of kids that they've been able to get out. Well, I think you're starting to see some of the results of that now on the line of scrimmage, because when I watched them, the thing that stood out to me, Jackson County's big. But they're not just massive. I mean, they're not like as big as like some of the top 6A teams, but they've got some size that they didn't used to have 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And I think it's allowing them to be more competitive up front. And I think that's going to be interesting to watch in this game. There's 2 elements to this game for Jackson County. One is, Jefferson's probably better than anybody they're going to see in Region 8 5A. Now, I know Clark Central looked good week 1, so maybe, but largely Jefferson's better than anybody they're going to play down the road. So this is a good test for them early against a better football team than what they're going to see later on. There's another element to this game, though, and to set that up, I think now is the time to go to Jeff Hart's stat of the show. Cue the music. Do we have it?
Here's some things you need to know. It's Jeff Hart's interesting stat of the show.
Oh, boy. Gotta love it.
What do you got, Jeff? Actually, it's Jeff Hart's stats of the show.
I had a stat, and then I'm going to credit Caleb with this because he sent this to me, and I was like, how did I not see that? So I'm calling it the Battle of Jackson County. So you got the two city schools against the two public school or county schools, and so what you have is Jefferson and Commerce. They're 23-0 all time against East Jackson and Jackson County. And interesting this week, all four of them are playing each other. You got Commerce at East Jackson, and you got Jefferson at Jackson County. Yeah, the East Jacksons, they've got a taller task, I think. But I think this is going to be the week. I think one of them knocks off one of those teams, and that streak will come to an end. And the one I like the most is this Jefferson Jackson County. If I'm looking at this game individually, Jackson County has a better quarterback. They go too deep on both lines of scrimmage. They have their defense might not be quite as good as Jefferson, but I'm going to put their offense, particularly without Gavin Markey, their offense is clearly much better than Jefferson. And so that's the matchup. If Jackson County can get some traction in the ground game and mix it up with some pass, I think because of the struggles the Jefferson offense is going to have against that Jackson County defense, I see Jackson County. This is going to be an upset.
Well,
but that's what I see.
The reason I wanted to get to that stat about how dominant Jefferson and Commerce have been over Jackson County and East Jackson is that it underscores what I was going to get to next about this game. And I haven't talked to Corey Mobbs yet. I don't know if the team is kind of embracing this mentality or if they're just...
Oh, they are. He is. He's wanted... Last year when he started his first year, we talked about the Jefferson. He goes, I'm putting him on the schedule.
So
he goes, I'm tired of not seeing that.
When you look at Jackson County as a place, as a football place,
right,
it's been dominated by Jefferson and Commerce all the time. And Jackson County High School, which I think has been playing ball since around 1980, I mean, let's just call it what it is. They've been an afterthought. They just have not been. They've just constantly been in the shadow of those two schools. They've tried to get away from that by not playing them.
By moving far away.
When they have played them, it hasn't gone well at all. So Jackson County, look, we've seen this population growing in that part of the county now for 20 years. It hasn't just started happening.
No.
And so with it has come the question, okay, now that you've got, increasing population, will somebody be able to get Jackson County high school football going? And East Jackson, too, to a lesser extent, but they're the smallest school, the second smallest to Commerce, but they're the smaller of the two. When will Jackson County be able to kind of start ascending the ranks? Because they've got the population. In some cases, they've got some of the talent. To be able to do it, they haven't had the breakthrough season yet.
Right.
And I think if they could get a win over Jefferson, whether it come this year, next year, 5 years from now, that would be a watershed moment for that football program.
And here's something else. We talked about this at the end of last year. Jackson County went 4-6 last year, lost 3 games in overtime. So 7-3 would have been their second best season in program history. It was that close for the Panthers with Corey Mobbs, who we saw what he could do at Lanier. We saw what he did at Lanier. And the man knows how to coach. He's brought in a great staff. They had 140 come out for spring, summer, and fall. Now, that's more numbers than anybody in the area. I mean, that's more than Buford. That's more than Gainesville.
You can only play 22, Jeff.
I understand, but when you have that many come out, that you can pick
I get it. He's breathed some fresh air into the program, and
Absolutely.
you can see it by the players that have come out on the field. And you talk about last year, 3 games, they could have been 7-3.
Right.
All right, guys, it's time for us to move along here in the show, as it's time for us to get to our newest revamped segment of the show, which we're calling Dark Horse Dogs.
What for those noises?
There was actually audio with that. That was well done.
We can't hear the audio, so
I heard it.
I didn't.
It was you guys from last week.
Oh, okay.
That's what the audio was.
Yeah, it was everybody saying Dark Horse dogs.
All right, so Jeff won last week.
There's music that goes with this
of the leaderboard. He's
Yeah, how
Cue
come I don't
the
get to
music.
go first? How come I don't get to go first?
He's 18 points. Caleb in second with 11. Walker with 10. Seth with 7. Me, I pushed. I have 1. So we did a random picker, and that's what we're going to do here for the Dark Horse Dogs.
They do it
Whatever.
random every week
That's
on
right.
the program that we took the inspiration from.
Hold on, wait a second. So
Caleb-
Walker, you could hear the music.
I can hear everything from Wirecast.
Okay, but you could not hear. I couldn't hear the
No,
music
we
in my
can't.
headphones.
The audience heard it. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
move
all
on.
it
Okay.
does.
Caleb-
We're learning here.
Caleb, Walker, myself, Seth, and Jeff. That's the pick order for the Dark Horse Dogs.
Wait, so do I
Caleb,
get to
go.
pick first for
You get
2
to pick.
weeks in a row?
Go for it, buddy.
Oh, my goodness.
This week is under protest.
All right, remind people of the rules, how the point system works.
Okay, so the point system works. You get the points if you win outright. If you push, you get 1 point, and if you lose,
Cover,
if you
you
cover,
cover.
you get 1 point. And what's the other rule?
No, I think if you cover, you
Cover
get-
cover 2,
cover
push
2,
1,
push 1,
win outright
win
spread,
outright, spread.
Spread.
There it is. Okay,
There you go.
and can't pick the same game as anyone else.
That's right.
correct.
Folks back home are going to kill me. I got to take Habersham Central. I'm picking against Flowery Branch. Flowery Branch is a 7-point favorite. Habersham +7 on the road.
See, I'm in this interesting predicament where I can go for a big number here and for sure I think get a cover, or I can go safe and maybe get the spread, but also definitely get the cover. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, since it's just week 2, play it a little more aggressive. Give me Jackson County with the 23-point spread.
I hate you.
Yeah, that was a good one there. That definitely was a good one there.
Who's up next?
Who's next?
It's me, I believe. No, it's you, Jeff.
Oh, I'm next. I thought I was.
Wait,
last.
no, it's me. It's me.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
thought I was dead last.
It's me. It's me. It's me. I'm gonna go with East Hall. I know
That
it's
was the other one that I was
just, I know
considering.
it's just 6 points, but I'm gonna go with East Hall.
For the record, this is a much more difficult week than last week.
Oh, way
Yes.
more.
Way
much
more.
more difficult.
All right, who's up? Jeff?
Well,
Seth Rowe.
look, I know I.
Did he say Jeff Rowe or Seth Rowe?
Seth Rowe.
Seth is up. Seth is up.
Yay, I'm up.
Seth Rowe is up.
I'm up.
I am.
I'm going to take Johnson.
I hate you next.
I know.
Y'all left me
Johnson, 9
nothing.
point
Plus
dogs.
9.
Yeah.
have left me
Johnson
nothing.
+9.
All right, Jeff, your turn. I think you should pick North Hall.
There's one on there that I almost would have bet after our pick segment that you would jump on now, but I'm not going to try and just hand it to you on a silver platter.
Riverside.
I picked Towns, so if I lose that game, I lose my pick. So I would love to have the 29 points, but
I think you should go with
I
Riverside.
don't see that happening.
Give me the points rundown one more time, Bo, on where we stand after week 1.
You've got Jeff 18, you 11, Walker 10, Seth 7, me 1.
Somebody already took Johnson, right? Somebody already took Habersham
Yes.
and East Hall.
Yes.
Of course you did.
Yes.
Of course. How long do we have on this show? Because it
Yo.
might take me the
Why
entire
don't you
rest
pick?
I don't know.
We're in an
45 more seconds.
Why don't you pick East Jackson?
Let's just take another break.
Let's
And when
take
we come
another
back-
break. You don't want another
Back
break.
after this. Today, Jeff.
The people can't do
Come on,
another
Jeff.
break like this.
Man, I tell you what, I'm going to go.
Pick a game. It's not the stock market for
I
crying
mean,
out
come
loud.
on,
I'm going to
Jeff.
go Fannin plus 13. Fannin.
What do you
plus
say?
13.
He's picking
Fannin,
Fannin.
that's the one that I thought he would go with.
See, I thought he'd go with Riverside plus 29.
I did too.
I really
Well,
thought that's where
I
he was
looked at
going.
that, but you know,
Hey, roll our music, please. Let's get out of here.
Towns won by
outta here.
28
Let's
last
get-
week.
Football.
It's time to get out of here. Look,
Let's play football.
Look, we've got the Gainesville Moody game on tonight on 94.5.
Yeah, you gotta get on the road.
40.
Oh yeah,
Get outta
That's
here,
right.
it's going to be fun.
So check that out. Friday night we have Benedictine at Buford on 550. We have Jefferson at Jackson on 102.9, and we have Oglethorpe County at East Hall on 94.5. Like that's Friday's action. Caleb Tailgate Show is what?
Tailgate Show is 6 o'clock on WDUN and 94.5 FM The Lake.
That's
Tailgate Show is what?
Presented by Conditioned Air Systems.
Check it out.
Hey, it's Thursday night quarterback too tonight.
Thursday night
Quarterbacks
quarterback.
Walker
Yeah,
filling
Walker's
in for
filling
Bo.
in for me.
Scoreboard show with
Yeah.
me and Walker after the game.
That's right. So-
WDUN 94.5
That's right.
The Lake.
Check us out on X at Friday Game Night and enjoy week number 2 of high school football.
Ayo, low key over this freaking camera angle, I can see my daggone bald spot.